What's up, guys? Today I want to show you real quick these two builds here. These are 3-inch 1S builds. Now the frame is from the Pickle Mini, I guess. I don't remember what the name of this one is, but it's a 3-inch Pickle frame. Or Pickle, I think it's just called Pickle 3-inch. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, I saw this frame and what happened is I ended up getting this motor, which is an 11,000 kV 1103 motor, which was too much kV for what I wanted it for. And I thought, instead of sending it back, let me try and build. I wondered what would a 3-inch 1S build fly like, especially on this very spindly light 3-inch frame. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Out of all of the 1S builds that I've ever built, these are the most interesting. Now, what's the difference between these two? Besides the props, the motors are both 1103, sorry. And this one is actually 8,000 kV. This one is 11. And you notice I have two different props, and there's a reason for this, because the 11,000 kV obviously wants to spin faster. Now, these gem fan props, they're a lot skinnier, they have less pitch, and they're lighter, so they can spin really fast. This one feels the best. This one here really feels good. It feels like a 2S. It's so fast. This is the thing. So if you might ask yourself, why would you want to build a 3-inch 1S? It is so much quicker than the 65mm versions. It just feels like you're flying a 2S, and it's very interesting. So I haven't managed to get the best. Well, I have gotten good flight times, but I feel like something might need to be optimized. Maybe the motors of these SPC maker motors, I don't think they're the most efficient. There might be better motors for this, but the difference between this one and the 1103 8000 kV is obviously this one doesn't have as much power, but you get way longer flight times. They are both so much fun to fly. So you can see that this one looks like a science project where everything is kind of just like like flapping out. This is really because it's just like a test. So you might say to yourself, 1103 motors are just not good enough for a 3-inch, but it works. It works really, really well. The idea is to keep it as light as possible. And this one is super light. And while we're talking about weight, let me show you the weight here. So, don't know if you can see it. All right, there we go. This guy is a lighter one. He weighs 44.9. That's the dry weight. And this one weighs 46.8. So there you go. So ever since this toothpick craze came out, the number one thing that attracted me was 1S and trying to make it as light as possible. People are putting huge motors on these things and trying to, make little rockets, which is great. Those are fun. But I tried to go in the opposite direction, trying to make them as light as possible. There's something really, you might not agree with me, most people might not, but there's something really nice about flying something that feels so spindly and just like, it just cuts through the air. Look at those arms. There's like no drag there whatsoever. In the old days, when I used to see those old drones with the huge, thick arms, when they had those KISS ESCs that were like plane wings, like, all of my engineering knowledge is just like an aerodynamics is like, how is that efficient? But when I see this, it makes me very pleased, because it's just like, it just feels like it's just cutting through the air. And even though you're not zipping at 100 miles an hour, it's something so relaxing about flying 1S. You can fly this anywhere, and the best part about it, super quiet. I've not had a drone as quiet, especially this one with the HQ props. These props are extremely quiet. The gem fans make a little bit more noise, but they feel better in the air somehow. I've learned that the faster a blade goes through the air is the more control you have. So if you have a very steep pitch prop, it doesn't have to spin as fast, and it's quieter, but it feels kind of mushy in the air. It's like the blade is stalling at a slower RPM, or yeah, it's kind of hard to describe that feeling, but yeah, even this one that has a higher pitch and a lower kV, still feels amazing. Just the amount of control you have from these guys is really amazing. But anyway, these two are not even like finished products. They're just basically, you know, like experiments. So I'm just sharing what I have here. It's a work in progress. I'm sure I'd love to see when Kebab comes out with his 1S toothpick build, what it's going to have in there. I think he's going to have a DVR in there. I haven't put DVRs in any of mine because I tried to keep it as light as possible. So the footage you're watching here was recorded on this eSheen watch. Don't mind the screen being scratched. It has a paper on it that I haven't taken off. But this thing records really well. I'm really pleased because somehow it works well with the camera that's in here, the Cadet Kangaroo. And somehow the DVR here seems to brighten it and maybe sharpen it a bit, but it looks really nice. I just think it does such a good job. So one of the big perks about 1S is that you just have this one wire, and this might not seem like a very big deal, but I mean, really and truly, it feels so much easier to just carry this around. Plug in one wire to charge and then plug one wire into your drone. You don't have a balance lead flopping around. It just feels so much more just easier. And like the chargers, for example, like I can carry this anywhere, and this has USB-C. There should be a lot more chargers like this. There are so many 1S chargers, and you have those little board chargers, the USB ones that you can just plug in. Those tend to work pretty well. I had one here somewhere, but I've misplaced it, so I can only show you this one. USB-C to me is a big thing because you always have USB-C lying around. I have this for my iPad here. This is the new USB plug. I don't know if it's in focus here. But, right, so here we go. Plug him in. And I don't know if many of you even know what USB-C does, but when you plug in a USB-C device, whatever you're plugging it into sends data through the wire and tells the charger that it needs, in this case, it uses 9 volts. So you can use 5 volts if you have a regular charger. If your charger is capable, it uses 9 volts. And this is a big thing because higher voltage into your charger means you get to charge more reliably and quicker, and you can throw more amps in it. So this charger I really love. The only thing that it kind of doesn't have a beeper. It doesn't show you very easily if the cells are finished. But to travel with this, that's all I'm showing you. It's so convenient because you always have your cell phone charger, and you can just pop your batteries on this and you're off flying. And the batteries I use are this 600 milliamp. I'm yet to try the 650, which I believe is pretty good as well. And I've tried flying with the 450. Of course, you don't get as much flight time, but it feels super light on these batteries. The 8000 kV version is really nice on the 450. It just feels like it's just floating through the air. And yeah, anyway, guys, that's it. I still have some issues with jello, especially with the 11,000 kV one, and I believe it might be the motors because they're kind of notchy. This one, the motors are super smooth. I don't have any issues with jello. I changed the props to see if maybe the props would cause less jello, because I know these props are actually lighter on the outside, so they're not as susceptible for vibrations, but it still shakes a bit. So, you know, those are the things I need to iron out. Anyway, guys, I was sharing this with you. Hope you enjoy, and sorry for the mess in the background. I'm always traveling, always moving, so I don't keep things very clean. But anyway, happy flying.